Hi, I'm Struan Robertson. I heard a great story once. It was a Chinese legend, I believe, about a little Chinese farmer who was working in his garden in this village. And what happened was, for some reason, his garden grew, his crops grew better than anyone else's. And all these other farmers came around saying, man, that's amazing. You're so lucky that yours has grown so well. And he said, well, maybe. Because you see, that night there was a herd of horses in the mountains, hungry, and they came down into this village to eat. And because his crop was growing the most, they walked into his paddock and they ate everything, trampled it completely, and utterly destroyed his crop. Now, the next morning, the villagers gathered around once again, and they're saying, oh, actually, that's really unlucky for you. And he said, well, maybe. Because his son was able to capture one of those horses that night, having chased them out of the paddock, and was able to capture the horse. And they all knew that if he was able to train the horse and break it in, the horse could be used to lift production for the whole village. And that would be really, really lucky. So the villagers are saying, man, it's really lucky that you got that horse. And he said, well, maybe. Because when his son was trying to break that horse in and riding it around, the horse threw him off and fell over. Now his son broke his hip and couldn't walk, and the horse broke its leg and had to be put down. So now the farmer didn't have a horse, and he didn't even have a son to help him because he was immobilized. Now the villagers gathered around and said, man, that is unlucky. And the old guy said, well, maybe. Because a warlord came through the following day, taking all of the sons, the oldest sons of the villagers, to war. And he couldn't take this man's son because of the broken hip that he had. So all the villagers gathered round, having seen their sons go off to war, and they said, man, you are so lucky. And he said, well, maybe. How long can this story go on for? I mean, it can go on forever. So are you lucky or are you unlucky? Are the good things happening for you or not? Maybe. Be a 10.